Stay connected with Fiat Ministry Network. Like us on Facebook. Stay updated at fiatministrynetwork.tv/feed. Follow us on Twitter at Fiat Ministry Net. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Fiat Ministry Network. Fiat Ministry Network, encouraging all to say yes to Jesus Christ.
Tonight on the Tactical Catholic Podcast, we're hitting the highway to discuss road trips. Picks up some neat tips on how to make the most of a short trip, how to make a long trip less taxing, and where you can find the world's largest set of stone coasters. We've got a lot to talk about. Toss your overnight bag in the trunk because we're heading out right now. Hello.
Hey everybody, Tactical Catholic here, and now we're at 35 now.
Yep, 35.
35, getting pretty close to my age.
Yeah, same here.
I like it. I like that we're still around.
Yeah,
35 episodes. So the 2 or 3 people that are downloading this podcast, 2 or 3 million people that are downloading this podcast, yes. I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Well, and I have no idea what's going to happen with the bandwidth tonight.
Okay,
we'll just see what's going to happen.
Yeah, no problem.
So, what's going on your way? How you doing?
Pretty good. Just getting into, we're not really into the summertime. It just keeps on raining over here. We just get tons and tons of rain.
Really?
It's just one of those, summers that we just get so much rain. The farmers are loving it.
Yeah.
But everybody else is kind of like, okay, we're done. Let's get some actual summer weather. So, but we're going,
gotcha.
It's going well. How about you?
It just stays hot here. So pretty much, Memphis is always hot, and it's been less hot just because we have had some rain and some breezes every now and then, but it's just hot, and it feels like you're stepping into a what are the steam rooms? Yes. It's sauna's the dry heat. This is just a steam room. So you're walking into a steam room every time you walk outside in Memphis. So it's always nice, the dangerous and hectic walk from my car in the parking lot. I try to park away from the building so I can get a little walking in.
Yeah.
But from there to the building, you're melting and you're suffocating in this sweltering heat, and then you step into a nice cold building.
Mm-hmm.
It puts your body into shock.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah. Well, and then I take the steps. So I got this Fitbit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I told you I won that at a conference. So I'm wearing this thing religiously.
Okay.
And I'm now paranoid about how many steps I'm taking every day. So at lunch I check to see where my steps are, and if I'm low, I'll go walk up and down the stairs from the bottom to the top of the building and back down just to get a few more in. Yeah, so
yeah.
But anyway, that's Memphis. Hey,
yes.
I read the coolest thing when I was checking some of my notes for tonight.
Yeah.
Did you read about this guy in Vancouver that punched a cougar in the face?
No.
It was a headline on my Bing search engine. So when I pulled up Bing, it just said man punches cougar in the face. So I looked it up thinking, where's the video? Where's the video of man versus cougar?
Yes.
There was no video of the man versus cougar, but I read the whole story. So this guy in Vancouver was out fishing with his dog, and a hungry cougar came out of the woods, grabbed his dog, like a miniature dachshund or something, grabbed his dog and started walking off with him. And so he chased down the cougar.
Okay.
grabbed the cougar, tried to grab his dog from the cougar, and the cougar wouldn't let go. So he punched him in the face. And then the cougar let the dog go. He backed back down some hill, and the cougar came back. So ended up having to shoot the cougar.
Huh.
But all of the Canadian authorities said he was totally justified in shooting the cougar. But what everybody wants to know is, where's the footage of punching that cougar in the face?
Well,
I've heard stories of people like a crazed buck jumps into a guy's house or something, and he had to like wrestle by the antlers, wrestle the thing to the ground.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard of a guy walking up to a cougar and punching him in the face.
No,
So
that's new.
Hey, thumbs up, Canada.
Yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
Where's Al when we mentioned that to Al?
Cool story, bro. That was really neat.
Well, there's like those stories where you got like a deer. Somehow the person puts a deer in the back of their truck, and somehow it comes back to life and breaks through the window and all that jazz. There's always those kind of stories with. Yeah, there's a joke I know on the radio show. There's always a animals against the humans kind of stories, and you can hear them. There's always like the big one that I hear about is down in the Mississippi, and where there's these carp.
With the catfish?
Well, it's carp that are just basically any kind of noise or anything. They come out. They're flying carp kind of, and they'll basically jump out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
And just they're really bad if they get up to the lake, the Great Lakes. But you hear those stories where the fish are attacking the fishermen and all that. But yeah. Well,
and they're jumping. And the bad thing about like a carp is that they're garbage fish, right? So, you got all these carp, and they just keep eating. They get huge and huge and huge, and they'll choke out the ecosystem.
Yep.
So the rest of your fish can't thrive.
Yep.
So it's pretty rough. In fact, there have been instances where Wildlife Resource Agency has just called people in and say, "Hey, we've got to get rid of these carp. So everybody come on, let's get rid of them," and just try to cull the number down. Because think about it. It's people throwing their goldfish in the water.
Oh, you got the snakes.
That's what they are. They're carp. So you're throwing these junk fish in, and they spawn like crazy, and an entire lake, and that's all you're going to have. And it's not. I know some people like to eat carp, but it's not. It's not good eating.
Yeah.
Give me a catfish.
No. Yeah, I agree.
But anyway.
Yeah, so we're talking
this is
about
not the fishing show.
Yeah, I know. We'll
Punch a Cougar show.
Yeah, let's go. We're talking about basically vacations, right?
So, we talk about this. You and I kind of hint at it all the time. We're talking about trips and vacations, and you and I have both gone to Disney this year.
Yes.
And okay, so you've seen the movie Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Most people have seen that. So he drives from Chicago all the way out to California to go to Wally World. And that was their big excursion. And I don't know how many days that trip was supposed to take, but it was a huge adventure. And you look at it, and you think, my family would go absolutely insane if I had to try to drive across the country to go to a theme park. Right.
Yep.
And then I take my family from Memphis, and we drive down to Orlando, Florida. We drive to Central Florida.
Yes.
But it's nothing. We're not talking about days and days and days. It's a 12, 13-hour drive. So not quite the vacation movie, but I think that movie kind of hits on a nerve. People think about road trips, and you think about all the crazy things that happen, or you see neat things, or the crazy things happen to you.
Yes.
The car breaks down, or I don't know. It hits a nerve. And so I don't know about in your neck of the woods, but down here, when you talk about road trip, a lot of people get a little skittish. The road trip is not something that I hear a lot of people getting excited about. But I do get excited about road trips. I love them. And so what I wanted to do is maybe talk about a little bit of road tripping tonight. And for those of you who have never gone on a road trip, the trip that you take on the road, it involves driving a vehicle. And so, and I say road trip, and most of the time, if you take a road trip, get off the interstate, but we'll get to that in a minute. But it's a chance to see, whether you go far or near, a chance to see maybe a part of this country that you don't ever see, or that you rarely see.
Yes.
And the road trip affords you the luxury of doing that, as opposed to flying over. If I were to fly from Memphis to Orlando, assuming that there is a direct flight, Memphis is not known for its direct flights. But let's just say that I was able to get a flight from Memphis to Atlanta, to Orlando. Then I'm going to fly over Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, then Florida. And I don't even know how long that flight is. It's probably not long. Altogether, I'm probably in the air less than 2 hours with a layover in Atlanta. So giving me plenty of time to try some delicious Pascal's chicken. If you're ever in Atlanta, you have to get some Pascal's chicken, or I will smack you in the face.
Oh, okay.
It's that good.
It's that good. Okay.
It's Pascal's chicken. They've got, if you're at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, they've got it in the airport just for you, so you can have some. But yeah, Pascal's chicken. Honestly, if you try it and you don't like it, then call me and tell me what an idiot I am. But you won't. I mean, you're going to say, thank you, Andy. That was some of the best chicken I've ever had.
Oh, I love chicken. I'll have to.
Well, you got to try it. It's good. And any kind of vegetable that you would want for some sides, my personal recommendation is going to be turnip greens. But that's me. I'm a Southern boy.
Yeah.
So anyway, are we talking about fried chicken?
Yeah,
Let's talk about.
We'll do a.
Here's an idea.
Yes.
I know I'm cutting out. My internet connection is unstable. So here's the deal. If you want to take a road trip with your family, first of all, why take a road trip? Now, I've already said you're going to get a chance to see a piece of America, or if you live in Canada, a piece of Canada that you probably haven't seen before. And I assume this is true of other countries. Okay. So if you're listening to me in Scandinavia, then this is a chance to see another part of Scandinavia. And it involves getting on the road with your family. Now, cool thing about road trips is you're trapped together. Like it or not, you are trapped in whatever vehicle that you're using. We have the Mirthmobile, otherwise known as a van. We take our van, and there we are, all 7 of us in a car together. And the potential for great things is there.
Yes.
The potential for fisticuffs is there.
Yes.
But I'm telling you that in families, if you've never done this, I challenge you to try it, because spending time together with your family is actually a good thing. I know a lot of people, especially, and it's kind of the culture that we live in, but there's a trend towards taking a vacation from the kids, because we live in this isolated culture that everybody, when they get home from work or school, everybody gets their device and everybody goes to their different separate corner of the house, and they plug into their device and they tune everybody and everything else out, whether it's a TV show or iPad or video game or whatever it is. And so there's not a whole lot of time where people just talk to each other. I've seen people texting one another, sitting next to them to one another at a ball game. You're texting the person that's sitting right next to you. I saw that at a football game this year. So, now don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not talking about a night out on the town or mom and dad taking a weekend for an anniversary or something. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about trying to get away from your children.
Yeah.
But look, yes, children can be super irritating. Guess what? Parents can be super irritating. That's part of it. But one thing that we as parents need to be teaching our children is that marriage and family and love is a lot more than just being nice to each other when you feel like being nice. And honestly, that's a tough lesson. I lose my temper a lot. And that's one of the things when I go to confession, I'm always having to confess my temper.
Yeah.
But it's something that I'm conscious of, something that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in a van and I'm going to be in this van with these other 6 people
Yes.
for the next 12 hours or the next 3 hours, then you can make a pointed effort to get along. That is part of our prayer when we go on any trip. Jesus, help us to please get along with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So it's a good chance because, look, each one of your kids, whether you've got 1 kid or 2 kids or 10 kids, whatever vehicle you've got with 10 kids, good luck. But I mean, there's big passenger vans,
Yeah,
right?
no, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
That kid is only going to be that age one time.
Yep.
My 16-year-old is only going to be 16 1 year, that 1 year when she's 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll be 17. And I'm never going, I've been told this by hundreds of parents. You're never going to, at the end of your life, wish that you had spent less time with your children.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to, no one in the whole world, I wish
Right.
I had spent less time with my children.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen. And so for me, it's been impressed upon me that family trips, family vacations, even family let's go to Aldi and see how much money we can save on milk. Spending time with family members is good because that's going to be gone. My kids are grown and gone and go to college or whatever. I'm not going to have that anymore. So while I can, I'm going to enjoy that. I got plenty of time when the kids are out of the house and grown to do stuff just me and my wife.
Right.
But while I've got them here, I want to spend time doing things with them. And that, write letters, and you can leave a review on iTunes if you want to complain. But that's my personal opinion, that you need to spend some time with your kids. And that I think the biggest why of a road trip is getting to spend time with the people on the trip. The second part is driving's usually cheaper than flying. Usually, you can do the math, and I guess if you found some discount airline, you might be able to get to your location for less than $100 a ticket. But like for me, $100 a ticket, and I'm buying 7 tickets. That's $700 each way. That's $1,400 plus tax just for airfare.
Yeah.
And when I get to Orlando, I don't have a car.
Mm-hmm. So
even if I was getting a $99 one-way ticket, or a $200 round trip, I still got to get a car because yes, I could take Disney Magical Express to the hotel. And as long as I'm on a stay on property, okay, that's fine. I could save on rental car. But how am I going to get to Mass? Like a cab? There's $70. So, I like to drive. And I like to be able to see the things that I've got on my way. Now, if I lived further away than 12 hours, flying's looking better. Because then you're talking about multiple days, multiple nights in a hotel.
We've done the overnight.
But
go ahead.
Well, we did. We broke the land speed record for this last trip to Disney. We drove straight through the night.
Okay.
We went to Vigil Mass. We came home. We ate dinner. And then we got in the car and went.
Oh, okay.
We just drove. And, I was just telling myself, we are insane. We're crazy. Because at least the kids could sleep. But, about 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, you start flipping out because you think, how many more miles do I have to drive? How far away is it?
Yeah.
But you're committed. So you make it happen. You're trading off drivers and all this cool stuff. But the kids can sleep most of the time, especially when they're little. They sleep a lot. But anyway, we decided on the way back, let's stop halfway.
No, you're gonna. Going from Ohio or even PA, it's so much better, the flying. But I get like going to like Niagara Falls. That's a big one for me, is just to take a road trip up to New York and see the falls. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite places to go. we usually go there every summer. We're gonna try to plan one of these weekends to do that. But
nice. How far away is Niagara from where you are?
It's about 3 hours.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, it's not that far.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's just going, just probably getting into New York up by Buffalo, and we're about there. So, I mean, we've done the driving to Disney, and it's brutal. I mean, you're adding another 2 or 3 days, or basically 4 days onto your trip. And so if you have the time.
When you're doing multiple trips. Now, I think scenery makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm. If you're driving through some areas that are scenic, then it can make the trip better, right? Mm-hmm. And my apologies to my friends in Arkansas, but they're to take 30, Interstate 40, and then to cut down to head toward Dallas. There's just not a whole lot in your state to look at down south. If we were in the Ozarks, that would be completely different. Mm-hmm. But there's not. It's just kind of flat, not a lot to see. Mm-hmm. And when I drove from Kansas City, Missouri, down to Fort Worth, Texas, on a lark, there's not a whole lot in Kansas at 3 a.m. either, except corn. Yes. So that was. Scenery makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. But here's what I was thinking we do. We talk about the road trip.
Yes.
A great way to test a road trip before you pile your family in a station wagon and drive across the country. Do this. Try a day trip. One tank trips, they call them. Mm-hmm. So take out a map and find where you live on a map. And Bing has maps, Google has maps. Yep. Your glove compartment in your car may have maps. Open up a map, and put a pin in your town. Yep. And then use the what do you call that thing? The legend. Use the legend on the map to find out how far your mileage is. How many inches is 100 miles or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Scale it. Yeah.
And then go out 180 miles from where you live. Mm-hmm. 180 miles. So that's basically 3 hours. And if you have a compass, you could draw a circle. I want to see how I'm drawing that right there on the screen. Draw a circle around your house. So you basically are creating a 180-mile circle around your house. Mm-hmm. So in any direction, 180 miles, and look and see what shows up. So you're basically talking about 3 hours, and it could be faster. Right. But look and see what's there. One thing now I live in Memphis, and Memphis is a relatively large southern city. But if you look in your own town, there may be some cool stuff you didn't even know existed. Museums, historical markers, famous graves in Louisville, Kentucky, where we used to live, the Cave Hill Cemetery. There are amazing celebrities buried there. Including Colonel Harlan Sanders, who was a Kentucky colonel, not an actual colonel. But, Colonel Sanders' grave is there. And if you go to his grave, I mean, it's his head, just like there's on the bucket of chicken. Mm-hmm. It's a bust of his head. And so one of the unspoken rules of living in Louisville is getting a bucket of KFC, going up to Colonel Sanders' grave, and sharing a chicken leg with the colonel. So, just saying. Hey, there's a lot of people do that. The lady who wrote the Happy Birthday song is buried there. So anyway, even graveyards can be kind of cool if you just go and look at stuff, right? But anyway, 180 miles out and see what you can find. Some neat museum or maybe a factory. Touring factories is a blast. Just to see how some of the stuff that you like to eat or drink, how it gets made. Maybe it's frightening, but it'll be cool.
Yes.
To see. I've been to dairies. I've been to breweries. I've been to food factories. I've been to equipment factories, just machinery where things are made. And that's really neat. But I'm telling you, within 180 miles of your house, you can probably find some really neat stuff. And so find something. And if you can't find anything, then you can for me, I'm living in Memphis, so I touch a lot of states real close by.
Yes.
So I recommend contacting the state tourism agency, even of your own state. Contact the state tourism agency, and either their website will have a guide that you can check out online, or they'll mail you some stuff, which usually includes maps, and they'll show you, because all these little towns, everything's not a big bustling city. All these little towns have stuff,
yes,
and you might have never thought about it. And you can say, "Oh, I didn't know there was a town called Finger." There is, Finger, Tennessee.
Oh,
I knew a guy from Finger. So you can find a Frog Jump, Finger. You can find towns maybe a town with a neat name,
yeah,
and maybe you can go there and get a T-shirt.
Yep. No, you're right. Yeah.
But it can be a lot of fun to take a little 3-hour drive, see what you find, and along the way, you can play, silly road games. And I think Kent, you were telling me earlier that y'all play like the alphabet game, or you're trying to find.
Yeah, in the chat room, PIR was mentioning in the chat room that a couple ideas she had was the alphabet game, and so that's a great idea. She also just mentioned at one time our local newspaper publishes a book for road trips. So I guess there's a local in the local paper, they publish a book about doing road trips. So she was just mentioning that in the chat room.
Fantastic.
So
and there are. I mean, you can go to your local bookstore and go to the travel section. Travel section is almost always next to the local history and local books. And so, you can find travel guides and history guides, and you may learn something about the place where you're visiting or the place where you live that you never knew before. And I've even been a tourist in my own city, where I just go to see, museums and things that are in my own town. I'm not leaving town, but I can see the things that are around. So it's worth checking out. I made a list, by the way.
Okay.
Here are some things that you might find within 180 miles of your house. Museums, galleries. I mean, we're cultured people. We like art.
Yes.
Maybe some galleries nearby. How about this? A farm or an orchard. Well, what could be more fun?
Yes.
Than bending over in the summer heat and picking your own vegetables or fruits. Actually, that would be kind of cool, because there are some cool orchards near us. You can go pick your own apples, pick your own peaches. Man, that's awesome. And it's tasty because you're picking it off the tree, and you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for it, but just eating it right off the tree.
Yeah. You could test. You could test.
It's Adam and Eve before they got kicked out of the garden.
Yes.
Fully clothed.
Right.
But eating some fruit. So a farm, checking out, call in advance before you walk up to somebody's private farm. But there are usually some farms that welcome visitors, especially farms that produce meat or milk or cheese. They give tours. I know of a few in Tennessee that do that. You hear my 3-year-old screaming?
Yes.
Orchards, I mentioned.
Yep.
Also, state parks. I don't know how many state parks there are in Ohio, but most states have at least 1 or 2 state parks, and you may be within driving distance of one. And some state parks are kept up just as well as the national parks. They're really well maintained. Now, some aren't, but it's worth checking out. Even like for a weekend camping trip or something, check out a state park, because you may be really surprised. I know I was.
Yeah, there's
state parks I visited.
Yeah, there's actually, I don't know how many acres that they own, but someone back in the day in Ohio, I don't know the exact story, but basically bought a bunch of land, and it became the metro parks, or it's the state parks. All over Cleveland, up down even Geneva. I mean, it's a huge stretch. I mean, they have about 5 golf courses that are public. They have, I mean, it's just an amazing amount of. But the big thing about state parks around Pennsylvania is up in Erie, Presque Isle. It is without a doubt if you ever want to go to great beaches, Presque Isle is a just great place to go. Just because it's so clean. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times you have to find those state parks that are clean, and they do a very good job with that.
Well, cool. So I knew there were other state parks out there.
Yeah,
so check out state parks, and you may live close enough to a national park to check one out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, growing up, the Great Smoky Mountains were my backyard, so we were there all the time. We're always going to the Smokies, and as a native East Tennessean, you take these things for granted. Sometimes you live so close to a state or a national park, and you never really appreciate it until you're not living near them anymore. And then you miss it.
Yeah. Well,
maybe you live near a national park.
Well, the nice thing, and this is like historical, but when we did the trip down to Disney, we would stop at a whole bunch of different Civil War battlefields.
Yeah.
I mean, just going down. I mean, you know more than I do. I mean, just you just go down the south, and there's battlefield after battlefield.
Right.
And I love that.
Well, and all throughout the especially the eastern United States and the southern United States, there are battlefields that are marked, and usually now some places are marked as and maintained by the federal government, but also state governments help to maintain these areas, and it's part of our history. This is part of what made us who we are as Americans and one nation, right? After being divided by the Civil War, so. Yeah, if you live near battlefields, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, lots of those, a lot of battles in and around there, but in other places too, but you can find them, and usually a state tourism board will be the ones that kind of tell you where there are usually trails, right? Those, you can follow particular battle trails, even as you were going down through Georgia. I mean, you could have followed Sherman's Trail to Savannah, and followed that down if you wanted to go get in the sticky hot Georgia summer in Savannah. But you could. I mean, there are battlefields, like I'd mentioned, cemeteries that are neat things to see. I mentioned factories, which, like I said, it's cool to see factories. And if you live near a brewery. Now, look, even if you're a teetotaler and you don't drink, just look at the production that goes into to brewing and bottling beer. It's really fascinating.
Yes,
or any food product whatsoever. It's really neat to see how stuff's made. I went to a dairy and watched how my favorite ice cream was made. That was really cool. I saw the Jersey cows out in the field, and I knew that from those cows came the milk and the cream, where they started making everything in the factory. So that was really neat.
Yeah.
Got to see how the cows were treated too. They were treated very well.
Well,
again, that's a cool place to see. Now, this is the secret, though. Now, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I will tell you just because I like you. And there's a website called Roadside America. Roadside America. And if you go there, you will find some quirky things that you can see in the United States. Toilet seat museums. Okay?
Yep.
World's largest fire hydrant.
Yes.
Bigfoot sightings. These are the things that when I'm going to take a road trip, the first place that I go after I map my route is Roadside America. And I check Roadside America to see what cool stuff is just off the road. Now, if you're on the interstate, you're probably going to miss some things. But if you're taking some of the 4-lane highways or 2-lane highways, you will see some neat stuff. Okay? And especially, the quirkier, the better, in my opinion. They don't always have to be the world's largest mud dwelling. They can just be somebody's cool museum or his collection of Pez dispensers. They're neat things to see, and most of them are free.
Yeah, that's
on the way to Florida, there's giant peanuts, giant peaches that you pull off the side of the road, take some pictures. You can even go stand in front of them in a lot of places. But that's some cool stuff right there. And yeah, it's a small diversion, right? You're pulling off the road, but you got to pull off the road at some time anyway.
You got to stretch, yeah.
Yeah, get out and stretch, right? Yes. Why not stretch and check out the world's largest freestanding peach?
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey.
Huh? Maybe they sell peaches. You can have a snack.
Yeah, snack. There you go.
So yeah, Roadside America is a cool place. Now, this is it's not a filthy side. There's not filthy stuff there, but there is some tongue-in-cheek adult humor. Okay. So it's not like 4-year-olds need to be looking at it. But I don't know how to say it. It's not like there's anything that's going to scandalize your kid, but they might make a joke about where babies come from when you go to the Cabbage Patch Museum outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, I got you.
Okay, I'm not trying to scandalize anybody. I just didn't want you to go there thinking it's some kind of a Catholic site and say, wait a second, this guy's talking about a fiberglass Jesus. Yeah, they exist, giant fiberglass Jesus.
Yeah,
But again, that's actually how I found out that Bardstown, Kentucky, has the world's third largest freestanding crucifix.
Okay,
it's huge. It's humongous.
Huh. Well, they had a big story about there's a Jesus with basically his hands up. They call him touchdown Jesus, where it looks like
Notre Dame.
It's actually in Ohio. I think it's on Route 77 going down to Cincinnati. I think it is. But anyways, I guess it burnt down or something, and they had to rebuild it, and people were donating. But everybody, was talking about touchdown Jesus. It was like that's how they kind of described it, because it just looks like he was a ref, and there's a touchdown. So, anyway,
so I'd like to see that.
I mean, that would. I have never been down there, but I'd like to go down. I think it's probably within maybe a 4-hour drive, or maybe right around the 3-hour. But yeah,
if you go to Cincinnati, you can go to Kings Island, just northeast of Cincinnati.
Yeah,
and Cincinnati's a cool town too. I like Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're prepping up for the All-Star game.
When I went to that's right. When I went through Columbus, I drove by the Longaberger Basket Company.
Okay.
Their headquarters is a basket.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Look it up on the internet. The Longaberger Basket Company, their headquarters is a giant basket. It's like, I don't know how many stories it is. It dwarfs the interstate. So yeah, you can't miss it.
Huh.
Look for the building shaped like a huge basket.
Okay.
That says Longaberger.
Well, that's within a reasonable. I mean, I know that 3 hour. That's a really great point of that. 180 miles. I think that's a great. Because if you do have kids, it just doesn't work if you're going to go any further than a couple hours, because they're just okay. When are we going to get out? When we want to do it's just okay. They have to go to the bathroom, and it's just there's so much that you have to do. But that 3 hours is a great, kind of a benchmark.
It's a nice little bit, because you can let's go out for 3 hours and spend however long you're going to be wherever you end up, and then drive back. You can be there and back in a day.
Yes.
Right. So, even if you live within 3 hours of a theme park, now I know you live near one of the best theme parks in the U.S.
Yes.
So you could go to Cedar Point and absolutely go bananas. But, and Pierre talked about Santa Claus, Indiana. That's where Holiday World is, or used to be Santa Claus Land. So, see, people live within drive distance of some theme parks, and that's a cool place to go. When I lived in Louisville, we were close. Of course, Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom Six Flags owned it at the time. Kentucky Kingdom was in Louisville. We were an hour and a half from Cincinnati and Kings Island. We were an hour and a half from Santa Claus, Indiana in Holiday World. We were 4 hours from St. Louis. And, just it was a theme park dream for us. So I think we were an hour and a half from Indianapolis. Went to watch the Colts play a couple times. And again, short little drives.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start to lose your mind on the drive, pull over. How about get an ice cream cone? Get a pack of crackers and just chill out for a while, because you don't, when you're on a short vacation, a little road drive like that, time doesn't really matter. So it takes you 3.5 hours. So it takes you 4 hours. Who cares? I mean, you're going to see the world's largest freestanding mud dwelling. And then you're going to eat some food.
Yes.
And you might walk around the town square, talk to some locals. And then before you know it, you can get back in the car and start meandering back, or make a circuitous route and go back a different way, see some new stuff.
That's a great idea.
Maybe you'll pass the toilet seat museum.
Yeah. Well, and if you do use
that's in San Antonio, Texas, by the way. Toilet seat museum. Look it up. I didn't make that up. That's for real.
Have you been there?
Alamo Heights. It's in Alamo Heights.
Oh, really? I think there's probably a museum for everything under the sun. I mean, you could go to anything and it's there. But
there is.
I mean,
if you get, I was going to talk about road games.
Yeah.
We mentioned the alphabet game,
mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of variations of the alphabet game. The way that we used to play it, you had to determine where you were allowed to look for your alphabet letters. So the basic premise of the alphabet game is to start finding letters, alphabet. Now you can play where you have to find all the letters and they don't have to go in order,
mm-hmm.
or you can see who can get the letter first, or you can see who can get all the letters first. The way that we used to play it was license plates only.
Okay.
Had to be a license plate. So billboards didn't count. It had to be a letter on a license plate. And so that was interesting. And it could take a while.
Yes.
We like to play a game, especially on long trips, where we try to see if we can find all 50 states on the license plates.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've done that.
So that's not easy.
No. Hawaii
Alaska,
is hard.
Hawaii
is hard.
Yeah, it's hard. But I saw Hawaii in I guess we were in Texas.
Oh, really?
Lackland Air Force Base.
Well,
yeah, the guy had his car shipped over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Finding that, I mean, that's a once in a lifetime thing for us.
I know you're gonna see
unless
that.
I go to Hawaii.
Right.
It's hard to see a Hawaii license plate.
No,
that's two games right there. My grandparents used to have these little games called Road Bingo. Have you ever seen those?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So it's just a bingo board with but it's got a little sliding thing, so you don't carry daubers or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see a barn, you slide barn. See a duck, you slide over the duck, and you can play bingo in the car. You can make your own. Just think of some things that you might see. You might see a shoe on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Just make up some bingo cards and play that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of. Just play dumb games.
Well, yeah, and it's fun with younger kids. I'm just noticing. I mean, yeah, we will have, if they want to listen to music and all that, but then I think color games, like, I see something, it's kind of hard to do it in the car where you're playing the color game, but you can maybe do it in the general scheme of what you're looking out there at. Like, let's find the first red truck or stuff like that. I mean, there's all these little things that, for even young kids that keeps their minds.
And even the
off
old kids can play. We changed that game, the car game. We'd say, okay, the next red car is yours, Rebecca. And so, whatever red vehicle came our way, that was her car, and it could be some old junker or something. You get that one, and then the next blue one, that's yours, Dalton. And maybe like a Corvette or something. Like, oh, it's nice car.
No, that's fun.
And then kids can have it. And if you got a radio, or if you got some CDs, and parents, you should do this too. Play the music that you like, and play the music from, like, I like the 80s. I love music from the 80s. And I didn't really care much for the 90s, apart from some metal and some grunge music. But my tastes were altered. But yeah, I like to play 80s music around my kids, and I'll give them a quarter if they can guess the band without looking on the display on the satellite radio. Guess who this is singing?
Yes.
Picking the song titles is easy sometimes because it's in the chorus or whatever, but picking the artist, that's kind of hard.
I would not be good at that.
It's kind of fun for me. So,
no, it's a fun game.
And I throw money at it to make it more interesting.
Yeah. And they probably have fun with that too. I mean, that's kind of, there's so much to do in the car other than drive, and that's one thing, for the person that's driving to, somewhat keep awake and alert and just focus, is to still talk. Yes. I'm not looking around, but just to say something to keep your mind moving and kind of being alert, because not yelling or anything like that, but just having a good a conversation is also just fun. I mean, that's one thing with the kids. You can talk about, you can really sometimes get into their heads a little bit more than in the house, because they're kind of stuck. I mean, they're even a smaller. So I don't know. It's kind of a.
Well, and if you can have some balance, you don't have to be constantly talking all the time. Sometimes the kids want to plug in and listen to their MP3s or whatever.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Which is fine. One of the things I like to do when I drive is listen to podcasts. So when I'm going on a trip, I download a whole block of them. In fact, when we went to Disney, I downloaded all the back issues, the back episodes of this show, and I went through them again to try to learn from, what are some things that we could improve on, or what are some things we can do better. And I listened to our show. I listened to Catholic Cafe, Catholics Next Door, and listened to a lot of them. Not the whole time, though.
Yeah.
So, you say, hey, for the next hour, do whatever you want. Kids want to read or color or play in their thing, or, everybody just wants to listen to some music for a while. That's cool. But then after that, we're going to play, whatever. We're going to play 20 questions. That's a fun game.
Yes.
We'll play 20 questions, and everybody has to play. And even though you get oh man, I don't want to, it's still fun.
I know.
Now look, two adults can play this game in the car. You didn't have to be playing with kids. It's fun to play 20 questions.
You could, you
can have fun.
You can play games with your wife without worrying about let the kids do what they want to do and play with your wife.
Exactly. Or have actual conversation. Who would have thought? But it's. I mean, these are just cool things you can do on the way. In addition to just pulling over and stopping, you see something cool on a short little day trip like that, pull over and check it out. And don't be, as long as you've got a good map and you know how to read a map, you'll be fine. If you go to a small town, you get a chance to talk to some locals and eat at some places. I mean, along the interstate, what are you going to eat? Taco Bell, McDonald's,
Support
Pizza Hut,
the locals.
Chain restaurants, right?
Yep. Support the locals.
When you're in a smaller town off the beaten path, you're eating where the locals eat.
Yes.
And it might look kind of weird, especially in the South, for me to come stomping into some restaurant with my 5 kids and my wife in tow. And it does attract some attention, and I'm sure bigger families get even more attention. But it's still a chance to come in and everybody be on their best behavior, and let's make an argument for strong families, for large families, and not an argument against large families. But to go into a place and check out local food, wherever the locals are eating at lunch, probably a pretty decent place.
Yeah.
If you see them packing in, or you can just ask somebody, where's a good place to take kids to eat?
Mm-hmm.
If it's just a couple of friends, where's a neat place where we could grab something to eat, and let the locals tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think I've ever encountered somebody that tell me to dry up and blow away. Everybody pretty much has an opinion. Oh, I like to eat at this place. They got really good brisket, or if you like biscuits, go over here. They make some of the best in town. So, and to check out local stuff.
Yeah, you're supporting the locals, and that's a big thing nowadays, because a lot of times you do those, what do they call them? Where they, it's kind of like pay it forward, where you basically have like okay, we're going to support this company, this local company tonight. Everybody come over and, support them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's just your family, but I mean, it's kind of that sense of, okay, we don't need to support the chains. They've got our money already.
Yeah, the chains have money, and
they're fine.
But taking the time to support local businesses, whether in your town or someone else's town, that makes a huge difference in the local economy. I actually plan on doing a show on local businesses. But that when you're traveling, when you spend your money locally, more money, local businesses tend to spend more of their money locally, whether they're sourcing their products or their labor. Mm-hmm. It's all local. You're not paying a fee to the franchisee who's paying it to the parent company who's paying it to some global conglomerate. Most of your money stays local, stays in that community. And so you're actually helping a lot of people out when you buy local.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you have to eat bad food.
No.
If the food's bad, don't eat it.
Yeah,
but
right.
Find a way, if you can, support local businesses. And one other thing I was going to mention was checking out local folklore. Local folklore. Now, see, I like reading books, and I know that in the travel section, and even in the travel section in my public library, most states have at least one book, if not multiple books, on local state legends and folklore.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about, Bigfoots or whatever, people call them, some kind of swamp beast.
Yep.
Or, Jersey Devil, right? Everybody's heard of the Jersey Devil. So all these things that exist or don't exist, and to talk to some people, when you're there. I love going through places where Bigfoot supposedly has been sighted, and ask somebody, have you ever seen Bigfoot? Just and talk to them. But ghost stories, we would. I'm going to tell you this one story just because I think it's cool. Yeah, it is no secret that San Antonio, Texas, is one of my favorite cities in the entire world.
Okay,
love San Antonio. San Antonio City, if you want to sponsor this show, I would love to do an on-location shot wherever you want, and I'll go there. I will leave right now, but you got to call me first and set it up. Anyway, in San Antonio, we were on a tour of the San Antonio missions that helped start what would become the city of San Antonio, and our tour bus driver was giving us all kinds of local facts that no other tour we'd ever taken took the time to do. And he told us about this, this hill, that if you parked your car on this hill, that the ghosts would push your car up the hill. You just park the car, put it in neutral, take your foot off the brake, and your car would be pushed uphill by the spirit children. And he built this really cool story around the spirit children, put in people that would put talcum powder on the back of their car, and there'd be like little handprints there and things. It was really a spooky story, but it made you want to try it out. Where are the ghost children? So anyway, local folklore can be really cool, and it adds flavor, to wherever it is you happen to be. And again, most of this stuff, when you're traveling, to local towns, most of this stuff's free.
Yeah.
If you go to Gatlinburg or Branson, Missouri, or something like that, all kinds of tourist traps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those places cost money, but a lot of roadside places, they have, the giant jackalope, it's just in the back of the store. They want you to buy a soda or a sandwich. They'll go buy a soda and a sandwich. You're going to see a giant jackalope.
Yeah.
So, but there are a lot of things that aren't going to cost you a dime apart from spend a little bit of time, a little bit of effort to look them up and to go see them.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, even if something goes wrong, even if it rains, then you can find something indoors to do. If you're flexible and you have a really good time. And even if you have a really bad time, you've seen Vacation, right?
Yes.
Chevy Chase bought a BB gun and tried to hold up an amusement park with a BB gun.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be you. But even if things go bad, the memories that you're gonna have, remember that time where it started raining and Dad flipped out and then the lightning struck and he got really scared because he thought God was gonna get him.
Yep.
Whatever. These are stories that you'll have, that your friends or your family, whoever you're with, they'll have, and these are things you'll carry with you a lot longer than an iTunes card or a video game or whatever, pair of shoes, whatever kind of thing that you might otherwise spend your money on. And if we're talking about a tank of gas, maybe eating out, you're not going to be out that much money either.
Yeah, and this is the best time to do this kind of,
Yes.
You were, just, and that's one thing about where we're at. Yeah, it can get hot, but it doesn't get as hot down as in the South. And you can, and really what you're doing is you're kind of making memories for your family to,
Yes,
and take photos and it is kind of funny just to think how many photos people have. Like there's a joke where, Grandpa didn't have any photos back in the day. How many, for our grandchildren, their whole entire lives is on some kind of digital media. And so we can take these trips and kind of reminisce and say, okay, this was a good one, this was a bad one, and make that 3-hour trip a kind of a benchmark. I mean, you can go further, but I like the 3-hour.
If you can do 3 hours, and I'm granted there's going to be all kinds of stuff to do within 3 hours, but then maybe you want to make a weekend trip and you say, well, we'll go 6 hours, or 4 or 5 hours, and go a little bit further and make a couple of days out of it.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, road trips are worth the effort.
Yes.
They can be a lot of fun, and work yourself up to the big trip. Work yourself up to that big road trip and do it. Drive out west and see, the Badlands or, the canyons or, Grand Tetons or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my dreams is to drive west and see some stuff, because
Yeah.
I've never driven further west than San Antonio. So that's about as far west I've ever driven.
Okay.
I've been to the other coast, but I flew. So I missed a lot. We flew over a lot of states.
Yeah, right.
I would love to see Nevada. I'd love to see Idaho. The things I've seen in pictures and in books,
Yeah.
I'd like to check it out myself.
Yeah, see it actually with your eyes.
Yeah.
So
And
great point.
and at some point, I plan on making a pilgrimage to Cedar Point,
Please,
because my kids like to ride the roller coasters now. So that's kind of
let us know when you are doing that, and we will pop in and say hi.
Good.
Meet in
We'll get
person.
Ray Garendi to meet us up there too.
There you go. We could all get together.
He'll give me therapy. He's gonna say, "Gosh, this guy needs help." Yeah, I'll meet you at Cedar Point, and I'll try to help you out. Anyway, okay. So I'm at my mark. So let me just remind everybody that's listening at home, email us. I do have a brand new website that I'm in the process of reconstructing, but all the emails work. So if you need to reach us, you can always reach me at front desk at tacticalcatholic.com. And the forms are still there for prayer requests and anything you might need. And the email addresses are there as well. So www.tacticalcatholic.com. And of course, you can always catch the archived episodes of this podcast on your iTunes. as well as our YouTube channel and here on fiatministrynetwork.tv.
Yes.
So we appreciate you coming by. We appreciate you spreading the word. Thanks for those reviews. Didn't get any new reviews this week, so shame on you. But I'm sure we'll have one next week, and we'll read you on the air. So if you want to be that guy or that gal, go to iTunes and leave that review, and we'll be sure to read your name and embarrass you next week. So until then, everybody have a good night, and God bless.
God bless.
Thank you for joining us on the Tactical Catholic Podcast, a presentation of the Fiat Ministry Network. Visit us on the web at www.fiatministrynetwork.tv. Good night and God bless. Stay connected with Fiat Ministry Network. Like us on Facebook. Stay updated at fiatministrynetwork.tv/feed. Follow us on Twitter at Fiat Ministry Net. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Fiat Ministry Network. Fiat Ministry Network, encouraging all to say yes to Jesus Christ.